Kathy Day, I'm a retired ER nurse.
My name is Rosie Bartell.
Hi, my name is Dr. Charity Watkins.
I entered the hospital via ambulance with a headache that was getting progressively worse. It was like something I had never experienced before. I got virtually no care whatsoever during about a 10-hour period of time.
My husband Mike was diagnosed with esophageal cancer last year. He was forced to go to the ER because his doctors wouldn't see him. He ended up on a stretcher in a back hallway for 11 hours.
I had a throbbing pain in my left arm and felt extreme fatigue that prompted me to go to the emergency room.
My mother was taken to the ED in the middle of the night due to breathing problems. About an hour later, I arrived at the ED to find out that they had removed her call light because they said she was abusing it.
But nobody was talking to each other. Nobody was communicating at all. And in fact, nobody realized that I entered the hospital in the early stages of sepsis.
His IV ran dry, the battery in his monitor died, he had no pillow, no covers, basically no attention, and I became his nurse that day.
After waiting 5.5 hours in the emergency room and not seeing any patients who were being seen by a doctor, I made the hard decision to leave.
My body shut down after 10 hours. I went into full distress. I coded. I almost died. They put me into a coma, finally figured out what was going on, administered antibiotics, and thank God they were able to save my life. But unfortunately, that delay caused me to lose every single one of my limbs.
4 days later, we were still in that ED waiting for them to assess her.
It would sure be nice to be able to report these sorts of acts or failures so that this sort of thing doesn't continue to happen to other people. And it happens on a daily basis.
What if his doctors had just said, come into the offices and we'll talk to you and order what you need done?
Now, what if we could have reported this abuse? Maybe then my mother-in-law would not have spent 13 days during COVID alone in an ED without anybody while they looked for a COVID bed for her.
I waited and waited and waited. And it wasn't until I was luckily seen at Student Health a few days later where I finally received my diagnosis of peripartum cardiomyopathy or pregnancy-related heart failure. But I think all the time about what ifs. What if, because I was postpartum by 2 months when I came into the ER, that it prompted an immediate response to my classic heart failure symptoms? What if there was some communication to patients in the waiting area about how much time it may take for them to be seen? What if there was some opportunity for information to be shared with patients prior to hopefully being called? These are my what ifs, and I hope that we can one day find an answer.